You're watching Completithon 2025, and while we finish getting the Jet Set Radio Future run set up, we have an interview with the runners for you to enjoy. So I always like hearing from the runners.
Welcome on in, everybody. My name is Mark C, and I am here with shovelclaws and vaen, who are going to be running Jet Set Radio Future Souls Percent, and more specifically, a two-player co-op version of this game. Now, I was unaware that there was a multiplayer mod of this game that existed until the interview started, and they told me that this is a multiplayer mod, and I want y'all to tell me a little bit about what that means and how that impacts the gameplay.
So, the multiplayer mod, essentially, I don't know how it works. It's insane. Any modding for this game is just insane inherently because it's on an original Xbox game. But essentially, you use a specific client of the game and some other things running as well to kind of link up your instances almost. So like your graffiti is synced, and your soul unlock progress is synced and all that, and like your mission progress and stuff. Kind of, it's a little funky, but it works well enough for something like a co-op category to exist. And again, this has cross-platform like compatibility. You can play with someone like on original hardware, which is absurd.
Yeah, it's funny. Original hardware lags a little bit, so sometimes it causes problems. But it's really cool. It has some weird interactions with story stuff in specific. Me and vaen have to like do a lot of cross travel to each other's locations to sync the story in our games. But we can spread out across the world of Tokyo to spray each area, and then all we have to do is dip in, do maybe a story progression thing, and then we can leave. So it basically cuts down half of what you have to do. Any percent saves 40 seconds or 40 minutes with it. It's pretty ridiculous.
The category we're specifically doing, like doing it by yourself normally is like around like 2 hours ish, and it cuts it down to like about a normal one person's any percent length roughly. So, and that's crazy because we're getting a ton of stuff. Awesome. We're getting a lot.
Yeah. So from what it sounds like, to make sure I'm understanding it as well, it's you two are going to be asynchronously finishing like different story points and then coming together to make sure that you're both synced to the same flags in game so that the story is progressing with you two at the same time. That's really cool. That's awesome. And also that you can do it across different platforms as well is kind of wild for an original Xbox game too. Just so y'all know too, did you know that the original Jet Set Radio just had its 25th anniversary since its original release date?
Yes.
Sure did.
I feel like JSR and JSRF are both really interesting games with regards to like just how their vibes are. I believe the original JSR was one of the first games to use like cell shading for its art style, and the soundtrack as well is incredibly iconic. Do you two feel that both of these games have much of an influence on the broader gaming sphere outside of like their respective genres, I suppose?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I think probably like in more subtle ways, but just like I feel like the general vibes and like again like JSR being one of like the first like earlier games to use cell shading in like the Dreamcast era, so like anything like that of course is gonna have ripple effects and just like general vibes and art style. Really paved the way for things like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, we'll say.
I had to mention at some point.
I had to at some point. But yeah, no, like especially like music too. It was just really like. I feel like it's kind of like one of those like it's not like the biggest like one of the biggest gaming icons I would say, but like it's definitely up there and it's definitely kind of a cornerstone of like a very specific kind of game.
I think if you talk to anyone with any background in like platforming games, they're definitely like, oh yeah, I've heard about that game.
Yeah.
And at the very least, those kind of design sensibilities like bleed into some modern releases, Bomb Rush being one of them, but even nowadays, like other I feel like I see it in even stuff like DK Bonanza, in honesty, where like that kind of design spirit goes a very long way with like JSR just oozing this like very eccentric style almost. And then games like DK Bonanza, oh, there are monkeys everywhere in the environment that you have to have eyes to see. It's a really interesting way to blend style with gameplay that I think a lot of games kind of taken its footsteps. Maybe not so much calling back to it directly, but it definitely paved the way for that kind of blending of style and gameplay.
A lot of subtle things.
Yeah. Are there any mechanics or aspects of the games that you wish other games had taken more influence from, or just sort of keys from?
Please add quick turns to every game.
Quick
They're
turning,
so cool.
quick turning, specifically features can management, lol. That's a really interesting kind of resource management that ties in really well with just how the game flows and everything. I feel like I haven't seen many other games really do it like Future has done it.
I also just want to talk about, highlight one of the features of the game as well, the presence of graffiti being not just the artistic expression in this game, but also as a way to fight back against the corrupt, people in charge of this city. I was just curious if y'all had any general opinions about like graffiti culture in general, if you've ever had any interest in like designing your own tags or anything like that outside of the game.
I think what the culture and the things that graffiti culture represents right now and what these games represent now more than ever is so important. Just the ability to resist and being able to do it in such a way that is so self-expressive. Again, it's just such an important message to really keep close right now. And being able to represent these games in a time such as this is really, really meaningful to, I think, both of us.
Yeah, I think Jet Set really encompasses that, be yourself no matter what. And
Yes.
That is such a powerful and deeply resonant message, no matter who you are, I think. Nobody can take that away from you.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think we have time for one more question here. I want to take a chance to talk about the charity that we're benefiting, the Girls Make Games Scholarship Fund. Now, nearly half of the total gaming population, if not more of the gaming population, is women, while less than a quarter of all game developers are also women as well. Do you two feel like you can feel that lack of just gender equity and diversity within the gaming industry with the games that have historically come out? And do you think that over the last decade that you felt any sort of shift in this as the demographics have become better understood about the actual gender breakdown in gamers?
I want to sit my edits ass down and let Vaen talk, but I want to say just real fast, tying it back to our game. I think Jet Set Radio is a unique game in its cast makeup because it is so diverse. You have a ton of women in the cast, a ton of black and brown folks. It's really, really cool to see the game itself promoting such diversity, because some games kind of lose that in the street culture type of era, but in the street you are yourself no matter what. So Jesset, I think, does a really great job showcasing that street culture diversity, and helps a lot bring those kind of voices to the forefront, even if it wasn't so much the dev team behind it.
I know you said you wanted to sit down and let me talk, but I mean, I really that's that's sort of the direction I was gonna go through as well. But also, just like I feel like a lot of the games that get like super popular are really lacking that kind of diversity and that kind of like pop that kind of diversity in culture and values can kind of bring. So I think what this charity represents is something that the industry can absolutely use more of at any point.
Yeah, on the notes of self-expression, I mean, I think games are one of the most deep and beautiful ways of self-expressing. There's only so much you can do to make someone look at your art and interpret it, but you can sit them in your shoes through a game and make them go through your experience, or at least an analog, a metaphor of it. So being able to let anyone, no matter their background, but especially girls and women, be able to make games is, I think, so deeply magical, and I think Jet Set captures that spirit in just the perfect way. It's really a boom, boom, boom.
No,
it's 5 booms.
I think y'all put it very well, and I do think that's our time here for the interview. Once again, I've been Marksy, joined by shovelclaws and Vaen. Thank you two very much for joining me for this interview, and look forward to their run of JSRF Souls Percent coming up here real soon.
Welcome back from that interview. I always like hearing from the runners. And this is Completithon 2025, benefiting the Girls Make Games Scholarship Fund. In 2014, Girls Make Games was founded in order to provide girls with the space and resources to explore the world of gaming and help them pursue careers in game development. Girls Make Games has helped their alumni go on to graduate high school, college, and on to jobs in the gaming industry and wider STEAM fields. With help through your donations, the Girls Make Games Scholarship Fund will give women and girls the support they need to reach their fullest potential. And we have a donation of $10 from Levixipede saying, colon 3. This is such a great cause for those donations to be going to. Keep them coming. Hopefully we can get that to the $375 we need by the end of this run to get an IL showcase.